Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to Stately Von Manor, where Roger and I are here with just a quick little video, another quick little random video, because I was thinking about books and reading and time and my channel, all stuff that, I think about now and then. I was thinking about all the books that I want to read. And I've done a lot of videos on those. These are the books I want to read in 2022. I did a bunch of those at the end of 2021. All the books I wanted to read in 2022 and didn't get to them. Didn't get to most of them anyway. And I've done videos like that quite often. And I still want to read every one of those books that I ever talked about in those videos that I haven't read. I've read a few of them, not many. But it got me thinking about all the books that I want to read. And of course there will be more that I think of that I'll want to read. I want to read everything, basically. But it made me think about books and how fast I read them, which is easy to do if you're on BookTube. You end up comparing the speed that you read books with, other booktubers who apparently have superpowers and can read books tremendously fast. Unfortunately, I don't have superpowers. I don't even have immortality like Roger over there. And so I was thinking about it, and I checked, I did some research. I'm always doing research here on this channel for my videos. But I did some research about the average life expectancy in the United States, where I live. And as it turns out, because, how much time do I have left anyway? Let's find out. Okay, so in the United States, currently, the average life expectancy is 77 years. That's right, it's 77 years. Why only 77? Well, because it's the United States. Our medical insurance system is terrible, and that contributes to it. Everybody in the United States has a gun, everyone. And what happens when everybody has guns is that, very often people use them to shoot other people. And so, we have that going on as well. There's a very good chance I'll just be shot randomly someday, because this just happens, apparently. And it's okay, apparently, in the United States. It's like, okay, well, more people shot. Oh, well. That's kind of our attitude here, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, that and some other contributing factors. 77 years, that's what I'm looking at on average. I hope I beat that, but, you never know. I might not even make it. But 77 years, average life expectancy, according to the internet, which knows all things. And so, I'm 52 years old, so that leaves me 25 years. 25 years, that's what I'm looking at. I don't have thousands of years like a certain stinky somebody over there. I have 25, probably. So that if I read, let's say, 60 books a year, which is about right for me, I'll try to beat that. And sometimes I do, but 60 books, let's say, a year, because I don't read super fast. That's 1,500 books I get to read before I die. That's not a ton. I'm doing the 500 book challenge now. And so that's 1,000 books over that. So, I guess I'll beat the challenge at least. But yeah, I don't, and it got me thinking about things. So this week, I finished Alas, Babylon. This is a book I finished this week. Good book. I'm actually going to do a video on this. And I'm reading this because I decided to do this for February Fantasy Stories, which is a BookTube event created by the Bookish Bryants and being hosted this year by Steve Donahue. This is Swords and Sorcery Anthology, edited by David G. Hartwell and Jacob Wiseman. But I'm probably not going to finish this book this week because, what am I at? I'm at page 193 out of 480. So it's not looking great for me to finish this book this week. So probably I'm only going to finish one book this week. Which, you know, if you're a normal human, that's not bad. But in BookTube land, it's a little... But that did get me thinking, man. Because, like, you know, yesterday I did a video on Daredevil. None of you watched it because it was a comic book video. A few of you did. But most of the people who subscribed to my channel didn't watch this video. It was about Frank Miller's Daredevil. Frank Miller and Klaus Janson, their run on Daredevil in the early 80s. And I have that in 3 trade paperbacks. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be nice to get the omnibus? Thanks, Roger. Roger used his magic powers, and the omnibus immediately just arrived through magic. It's all right. It doesn't count in the 500 book challenge because it's, you know, a comic book, an awesome comic book. But I got this and I'm like, okay, when am I going to actually end up reading this? I mean, I have a billion comics I haven't gotten to yet. When will I actually read this book? I want to read it because I want to revisit these stories because these stories are amazing. When will I get to Wolf Hall? I have the entire Wolf Hall trilogy. When will I get to it? I've been intending to read it. When? When will it happen? When will I get to this book, Carrie Comfort, by Dan Simmons? I've been meaning to get to this book, what, forever? Forever? Haven't read it yet. What about classics of literature, like Death of the Planet of the Apes? I should have read this last August for Garb August, but I didn't. Will I read it this Garb August? I hope so, because I haven't read it yet. What about Blackwater, this great big novel by Michael McDowell, which I've been intending to read since my channel first started? Will I ever read this book? What about The Roo by Alan I probably won't read The Roo. That's probably actually not going to happen. Well, I might. I mean, it's really short. It'd be good for the 500 book challenge. So maybe I'll end up reading The Roo. The Dark Descent has been waiting 2 Halloweens. I've meant to read this the past 2 Halloweens. I haven't read it yet for Halloween. Will I read it this Halloween? Something always screws up my plans. It's a disturbing thought that I haven't gotten to these books yet. And of course, there's a billion other books I intend to read. Well, at least 500 I intend to read. And, you know, when will I actually get to all these books? Something always happens to push some of the books I intend to read out of the way because of other books I want to read. And I don't know. I was just thinking about this. Am I the only one that is troubled by this kind of thing? I've actually I will lie awake at night thinking about all the books I want to read and how little time I have. Oh well. And it's actually, I'm trying to remember. I think this always bothered me. I think this bothered me even before I was on BookTube. Although BookTube does make it even more troubling. There are a couple downsides to BookTube. And that is, there is a certain amount of pressure, I think. And whenever I start to feel it, I have to change things a little bit on my channel here and there. And I think that's what I'm doing again, but nothing major. Like I was doing the weekend reading reports every weekend, but I'm thinking I might not do them every weekend. I might do them every couple weeks, because what happens is if I go through a week like this week is, which is kind of busy, I'll start to feel like, man, I haven't read much this week. You know, what the heck am I going to talk about on the weekend on my weekend reading report? And then I think, well, who cares how much I've read? Some people do, I guess, because people watch those videos. But I was thinking, you know, maybe I don't have to do that every week. Maybe I'll just do that every couple weeks, you know, and take some of the pressure off there. I don't know. This video, like I said, is very random. It is very early in the morning. It is 5:20. That's not totally early, but it's still early to think about stuff like this. Roger, why'd you make me get up and make this video? He's always, man, this guy. Anyway, this is a random video in which I have resolved nothing. I will catch you next time.